just a quick introduction. My name's Stuart Goodinson. I'm Managing Director of Lacy Executive. This is Grace Nugent. She's General Manager of Lacy Executive. So, what's going on in recruitment market? What's it like trying to find people at the minute? And the short answer is it's really difficult. It's been really difficult for probably 18 months. It's probably as difficult now as we've ever seen it.
Yep.
And there's a lot of kind of cliches talked about, a lot of words bandied around. You hear, it's a candidate-driven market, it's a candidate-short market. That's all just fluff. It's just really difficult. And the reason why there aren't that many people around, there aren't people to replace or to find, is everybody's still feeling uncertain. There was uncertainty during COVID, lockdowns. There was uncertainty following Brexit. How's that going to impact on me and how's that going to impact my business? There's uncertainty now because of the cost of living. Can I pay my fuel bills? Mortgage payments going up. So there's so much uncertainty in the market. The default position for so many people is, do you know what? I reckon I'll just stay where I am for now. And that's the kind of safe position for people to be at. So there are less people in the market, in fact, hardly anybody in the market going, I want a new job, I'm off. What I would also add to that is that those people who are in the market now and are desperate for a new job may well not be the sort of people that you need for your business, because you'd have to wonder why they're in the market. So just be thinking about that. Labour shortages, which have come through from all sorts of reasons. But what I mean is there's labour shortages at the manual end of things, on farm, on practical skills. There is a labour shortage there. What that means, though, is that businesses often are being stifled in progression. People can't move away from being, a farm labourer, for argument's sake, to being the herd manager, because they still need to do that labour. So it's stopping people progressing through businesses, which is stifling businesses as well. Next, I want to talk a little bit about the what's going on at the moment as well. So let's say we go all the way through the process and we get somebody to deciding they're going to take their job. One statistic which is really important is that usually people at that point, there's about 10%, 12% of people will reject that offer and stay where they are. Today, that figure is 40%. 40% who are people who are offered a job end up backing out of it. That's not in aggregate, that's across the whole board. That's what having some impacts, and I'll tell you the impacts in a minute, but what is causing that, and we see it all the time, is that people get to the stage, yeah, I really fancy that, and then we start to hear a family member, a partner, something in the background going, oh, hang on a minute, should you really be moving now? You've got a job, all right, it's the salary, but, we've got the mortgage to pay, we've got the heating bill. Just stay where you are for now, will you? Just stay. So often you have a partner in the background or a family member or whatever it is persuading people not to take that job. And so that's been the major driver of people not moving on. The other main reason is that everyone knows the market's difficult, so people get to the stage of it. They talk to their current company about them leaving. Woomph, in comes that company going, here, have another £1,000 salary, have another 5,000, have another whatever. And they go, okay, all right, I'll stay. Mistake. A, it's driving up salaries unnecessarily. B, that person who was deciding to leave, the reason why they wanted to leave probably hasn't changed. So you're going to pay them another £5,000, and 6 months later they'll probably still try to leave anyway. So there's an increase in salaries going on. One point I want to make is that when you're looking for people, when we're looking for people, when we're recruiting, that probably the ideal person that you want doesn't even know they're looking for a new job. They're probably not in the market, they're probably not reading job ads, because they're probably okay. Because in a way, they are the best people. So bear that in mind when you're thinking about writing job adverts. That's what the market is like now. I suspect in Q2, next year, it's going to be slightly different. I think we'll see redundancies in industry. I think we'll see confidence coming back because we've been through the winter. So I think we'll start to see a few more people coming into the market looking for a new position. Okay, so Grace is going to talk about, really, if people are going to leave, why do they leave?
Yeah. So this is definitely obviously where we need to be aware of. Excuse me, because I'm not as flowy as Stuart, so I still need my notes in front of me. But so basically what a lot that we get asked, with people moving on, is there's this very common assumption that it's going to be because of salary, but it isn't. You know, we get so many people come to us and they actually say, well, they've left our business because of salary and that's it. But it isn't as simple as that. And there's definitely a lot of questions that need to be delved into and asked behind this all, really. Because not only does high employment turnover have a significant financial implications, there's endless research that shows the sort of damning effect that it has on the culture as well. And we all know that, you know, having a bad culture, it means that you're more reliant on the people that you've got in your business, and then you're more likely to get sort of culture assassins in your business as well. So you've got to be really, really careful and really delve deep on this. This isn't actually a sector-specific average, but the average turnover for the UK is around 15%. Which is very interesting because it's according to the 2020 retention report that every resignation can cost a company 1/3 of the employee's annual salary, which we thought was a really interesting statistic. And if you have a high employee turnover, you're probably facing deep-seated issues. So as hard as it is, you do need to get to the root cause of the issue. You know, I would like to think that everybody is at least doing a minimum of exit interviews when somebody leaves your business, but that shouldn't be used as just a tick-boxing exercise. You need to really listen when somebody leaves the business and actually learn from it. And that's ultimately the only way you're going to create a really good environment that the people you want in your business are going to flourish.
Good. And sorry, just to further support that, and I want to emphasise it, the salary is at the bottom of the list of reasons why people leave. And we can say that because we get how many calls every day, and the most frequent reason that people want to leave is not to do with salary. It's usually down the list. So just think about that.
It just tends to be what gets told to the employer.
So now, yeah, I'll leave you to cover this bit. Yeah.
So again, this all links to what everyone's been saying. I can definitely see a common theme here throughout all the talks that you've been heard today. Is it's you know, making the most of the people that you've got within your business, and you know, it's increase your retention rate. Is so much more, as we keep saying, and there is definitely a repetitive nature of what we're saying here, is if you do think you can just give them money, you can't. It was a real reality check for some people when they realise that. But, you know, people are savvy. They not only expect, but they need far more than just that. So don't be tempted just to put a plaster over a bullet wound. Number one, and it's the same for our business, is communication. And you really need to listen to your employees and make them feel valued, because who doesn't want that when you're working for someone? Who doesn't want to feel valued in a company? Fairness amongst the team and transparency definitely need to be up there. Again, I feel like there is a consistent theme through what is being said between everyone, so I think, you know, it must show that it's ringing true. But you know, I've read articles actually that have actually said about having full pay transparency between a business. I'm not so sure on that myself personally, but again, it's all things that everyone should be aware of in a business, and you need to make the choice whether that's right for your business or not, rather than having no idea of these concepts at all. The focus now more than ever needs to be on identifying and retaining your existing employees, whether this is considering them for different roles or maybe, you know, building upon the knowledge that they've already got. Another statistic, we've been going through our statistics, haven't we, Stuart? But another statistic for you is that 64%, you've got a 64% chance of somebody staying in your business after 3 years if they've had an internal move within the company, compared to someone who hasn't had an internal move. They're 45% chance of likely to stay in your company. But at the same time, you know, saying all this, we both definitely appreciate that, you know, this isn't a simple process. There's a lot of strategic thinking and time that needs to go into this, but this time is worth it. You will see the effect that it has on your bottom line. You know, it can't just be, as to use one of your words, is seen as fluff. Like, this is really important that the time gets invested into this. And having the right managers in place is very is very invaluable to a business too, as they need to have the ability to support. And I assume everyone has seen this a lot. Is we're seeing a lot of burnout now amongst people, and you need to have the right people in place to be able to support them through, because we all know the effect that can have on your bottom line as well. Yeah. But it's more than that. It's actually encouraging employees, letting them grow, making them know the worth of accountability within themselves. That's what's really going to push your business forward. And when we looked at the figures for a survey for a UK employer, said that 54% of people said they stayed in a business due to a supportive manager. So just by having the right managers in your business is just one instant way you can increase your retention rates. And also thinking about the dynamics in your team as well, because different weighting is important to different people. So, for example, if you've got a younger team, they might have a heavier weighting on, doing more social activities than, if you haven't. So that's all just something to think about, and think on a personal level rather than just trying to, absolutely pigeonholing people, because everyone is different and all teams are different as well. And the key to, I think this is a really good saying actually that I found, that the key to remember is words have their limits, but it's your responsibility to keep your promises. Yeah.
Yeah, and just again to support that, the number one reason people will tell us on the phone why they're looking to move to a new place, they don't feel valued. They don't feel valued, and that can mean all sorts of things. So just bear that in mind. That's the most often reason why people ring us up.
Yeah, so obviously this leads us nicely on to what the best people, and we made a point of saying best, didn't we, people are looking for in a new job. Yeah. Because no matter where the market's at, to recruit the best talent, you need to stay on point with the current markets. And it's interesting because I think what a lot of people don't realise is, it's live data. The priorities are continuously changing and the order that they go in. And it is based on sort of market trends and, bigger events that go on as well. Because I noticed as well, according to the Global Talent Trends report, which is from October 2022, currently, compensations is at number 1, which we all know from where we are, economic climate, etc. So that's probably of no surprise. But at number 2 was balance and support, and this is work and personal. And again, we saw a real jump up of this, that people were wanting this and expecting this, particularly over COVID times. Which then leads on to, it should be no surprise, flexibility. Another one we all keep saying today about is and it's really now employees expect to work when they want, where they can want, and for that flexibility to be in place for them, and for an employer to really support them with that. And it's interesting how still the UK's got some catching up to do. It was interesting to find that remote jobs only actually represent 10% of all jobs posts currently that are on our market at the moment, but they receive 20% of all the applications, which I thought was really interesting. It shows that demand's there, and if you're struggling with people, there's just, again, an instant area. And I get the practicality, it doesn't work for all roles, but you've just got to think outside the box of ways you can make these things work to attract the right people. Upskilling was number 4. So again, the right people that you want in your business will take advantage of this. They will really want to grow their skill set. And obviously it all goes in turn because it'll help push your business forward as well. But it was, because I appreciate the bottom 3 actually on this slide, they're really, really hard for anyone that's looking for a company to truly know until they actually start working for the company. But again, just thought they were really important to be on this slide because it just really shows probably the morals of the person, that if those are important to them, says a lot. And it also an instant way that you should be reviewing just to make sure you keep them engaged and retained in your business. But I think one area that we definitely have to advise our clients a lot, particularly within the sector that we're in, is unfortunately gone are the days where you can just expect people to want to work for your company. That's gone now. Everyone has to really, really sell themselves and really demonstrate what you have to offer these individuals.
Yeah, and because it is genuinely more of an approach of why should I work for your company? And that's, we've seen that trend accelerate, particularly since COVID as well. Yeah.
So that leads over to you.
Okay, thanks. So next bit, I want to talk about this kind of buzzword, trend word, whatever you want to call it, fluff, whatever you want to call it, employer branding. Now, in my view, people go, oh, what the bloody hell, what is employer branding? It's really simple. And what I really want to get across to you is you're all really, really good at marketing your own business, your own products, your own services. You know how to talk to your customers. Because you're in this room, it demonstrates that you know what you're doing in your business. You're brilliant at marketing to your customers. You have to be as good at marketing yourself to your own employees. You have to be as good at marketing yourself to potential employees. It's two sides of the same coin, but often the employer-employee branding is forgotten. So it's very simple in many, many ways. It's just market yourself to your current employees and to future employees as well as you possibly can. Because if you do that, you'll keep the good employees and you'll attract new ones. And I've got some statistics in a minute that will back that up. It makes the employees that you've got proud to be part of your business because they understand who you are, what you stand for and where you're going. They want to be part of that. And a well-known brand and a well-promoted brand will attract people. It will make candidates, it will make people who are looking for a new job come to you directly and cut us out. Terrible thing. But yeah, you know, if you attract people directly to you through your own, you know, abilities, then it's going to save you money. Again, I'll show you a statistic in a minute. In addition to that, great, if you have a great employer brand, if you're recognised as being a brilliant company to work for, your employees are going to go out and tell everybody else, whether they're customers or whether they're other potential employees. So they're going to be your internal recruitment people. So really, really important. People work for good employer brands are usually more enthusiastic, more motivated. For us, if you're a great company to work for, then it makes our job so much easier. And we can talk to 2 or 3 times the number of people that we could have done before. So just to support some of those things, there's some statistics here. 92% of people would consider changing jobs if offered a role with a company with an excellent corporate reputation. Companies actively investing in employer brand can reduce turnover by as much as 28%. 75% of active job seekers are likely to apply to a job if the employer actively manages its employer brand. So these are just statistics backing up those thoughts there. A strong employer brand can reduce the cost per hire by as much as 50%. So you get the right candidates, people coming to you. It shortens the process. You're not having to interview time and time again. You're not having to use the people like us. You're not having to advertise. So it's easy to save a lot of money. You'll save more money than you will spend on promoting yourself as a good employer. 86% of employers and job seekers research company reviews and ratings to decide their joining. So we can work really hard to sell your company as a great place to work with, and they will listen to us. But at the same time, they will go onto the internet, they will do research, they will talk to other people to find out if it's true that you are a good company to work for. That's why you need to keep ahead of the curve and make sure that you're promoting yourself well. A negative reputation can increase the cost rate cost of hiring by 10%. 50% of candidates say they would work for a company with a bad, I got this wrong the last time. 50% of candidates say they wouldn't work for a company with a bad reputation. And that's quite a, I'll let you think about that one because that's quite an important statistic. So, as I say, employer branding, what does it actually mean? What is it made up for? Again, it's pretty simple really. What your employer branding is all about is talking about, demonstrating, showing what your culture is, who you are, what you stand for. It's about what your employees would say to other people about who you are, what you are. It's about people who come to talk to you. If we put a person in to talk to you for an interview, what are they saying when they come out? Are they saying, well, I'm not going to work for them, they don't come across well, they don't know what they're talking about. So every interaction that you have with an employee or a potential employee has to be 100% honest, positive. And the employer branding it also incorporates the corporate branding, the stuff that you do that's customer facing. So it's simple. It's simple. Just think about marketing to employees, potential employees, as hard as you think about marketing to your customers. Okay, I'm going to hand back to Grace for that.
Okay, so this section is obviously finding the right people. And the reality is, as we all know kind of where we are and we keep saying at the moment, is it might have changed for you in your business. You might have thought we were going to be adding 9 new people in our business, but actually with where everything's standing at the moment, we're looking for 3. And if that is the case, you need to be really looking at what talent you're wanting to bring and spending the time of, strategically thinking. And often a way that we advise our clients is, well, actually, does this role, is it a specialist role? Should you be looking at more of a generalist for the role to sort of increase the fluidity that you have within the company? And these are all things that, again, you just need to take the time to be considering. And, allowing, those questions to have the time to be sort of thought of. And if that has got you thinking, there's a really good concept actually that I found online that was called skills first hiring. It won't be for everyone, but it is just worth sort of exploring and just to sort of seeing if that would be a way potentially forward for your business. But it's, again, the main reason why we have to start at finding the right person from the beginning rather than pedaling backwards is a lot of it is cost. To get the wrong person in your business can cost up to £6,000. And that's basically taking into consideration the loss of production, the management, the whole recruitment process, HR, etc. The list goes on really. But good recruiters, with the emphasis on good, they make it look easy, because we calculated, didn't we, there's 27 steps in the recruitment process. But you have to get them right. You have to do them in the right order. And if you don't, the process will fail. And, as we alluded to earlier, the market is not set in stone. You have to stay up to date, continuously reviewing the data and the trends, moving with the key market insights, because our industry is constantly evolving. And recruitment, as we know, is definitely a full-time job. So...
and torturous.
But again, I suppose bouncing off the point that Stuart made earlier on the last side, is definitely you need to be making the most out of the whole process with every interaction that you have throughout the whole process. Because if someone goes through the process with you and they don't have a very good interaction throughout the interviewing process, not only will they probably not likely to take the job, so that's just a waste of everyone's time, but they're also going to share negative thoughts, share negative opinions. And again, we're small industries. These words, they have an effect. So, the aim needs to be for any business, which is the same as ours, that experience needs to be exceptional. Even if they didn't make it to the offer stage and, they still look back on their experience and think, do you know what? I still really enjoyed that experience, and they still speak highly of your company. That, again, is just an instant way that you can add value to your business. And so many companies miss a trick, in our opinions, of just not taking advantage of that.
Yeah. Good. Okay, I'm going to talk about, if we're going to find somebody, and we're looking to find somebody, I want to talk about job advertising. It's kind of my pet hate or pet love. I don't know which it is, but it drives me absolutely nuts. And I'll just focus on the do's rather than the don'ts. And what I said earlier on is that if you're the person that you're probably most looking for probably isn't even thinking they need a new job. They're probably at this stage not in the marketplace. So basically, you've got 3 seconds. 3 seconds or 1 sentence to get that person that isn't looking for a job to read your job advert. Because if that first sentence on your job advert is dull, interesting, irrelevant, or about you, then they will stop reading. to get somebody to read your advert, they need to read the first sentence, then they need to read the second sentence, and then they need to read the third sentence, because you want them to read the whole thing. So really focus on that opening first line. It's so important, because if people don't read it, they're not going to apply. I mean, I know that's kind of obvious, but if they don't read it, they're not going to apply. Just on that first sentence, you put a job title in sometimes, maybe you don't. But one piece of information, when we are emailing out and contacting people, what you'll find is if you put a question at the start of a job, it is much less likely to go into somebody's spam folder. It's much more likely to appear in a Google search. Google Analytics tend to like questions, or tend to be more pro on questions. So just a bit of information. That's why you'll see on a lot of Lacy adverts, it starts with a question. But also human nature means that if you read a question, you will answer it in your head whether you wanted to or not. Okay, the other things that are important, people want to know what's in it for me. You know, why should I come to your company? What's in it for me? So make sure there's some actions in there that tells them what this job means for them. What you don't want to do, what you really don't want to do, is exaggerate. What you really don't want to do is, this is a fantastic opportunity. It's not for you to say whether it's a fantastic opportunity. It's for the person reading it to decide whether it's a fantastic opportunity. If I see one more job advert that says, this is an exciting opportunity, I'll go mad. Because it's not for you to tell them whether it's exciting, it's for them to decide through the words whether it's exciting or not. Be clear, be clear, be clear. What, where, when. You know, as I say, you've probably got 10, 15 seconds of attention, so they want to know what, where, when, what's in it for me. You can put in a sentence or two about why they should work for you. You know, people work for us and they progress very quickly from, you know, X to Y. We really enjoy each other's company in this business, so come and join us. A sentence about why they should work for you as a personal company is really important. Use the language that you would normally use to if you were talking to somebody. Don't talk in cliches. Use the language that if you were talking to somebody face to face and trying to describe the job, use that language, because it just puts people off cliches. This ad, okay, can't bear the font. I've just got this thing about Times Roman font. I hate it. It looks dated, but we can have a debate at coffee time if you want. OTE. I'll guarantee you that 50% of people, even salespeople, don't know what OTE is. Plus, if I see up to 50,000 OTA, my brain goes, okay, so that salary's 25 grand, is it? I'm never going to earn 50 grand. So people don't believe OTE figures. So just be straight. I think it's dangerous territory putting salaries in myself, because if you put a range of 20 to 35, people think of 35, and if you don't offer them 35, then you've shot yourself in the foot. Career progression opportunities, fine, that's okay, great, I can move through the company. Company vehicle and technology pack. So hang on a minute, so you're going to give them the tools that they need to do the job, are you? Well, you know, why wouldn't you give them the tools to do the job? So, you know, don't sell the basics as a benefit, because that's not a benefit. Because if you haven't got a car and you haven't got the technology pack, you're not going to be able to do the job you want them to do. So again, think about what's in it for them, not what you think you're offering. The loyalty scheme, great, don't quite know what that is. Plus more, well, there's a bit more, but I can't be quite bothered to tell you what it is. You know, it's kind of, just be clear, just be straightforward, just write an advert as if you were talking to the person. Shall I shut up now? But give detail, be clear, be honest, be straightforward, and think about the 3-second rule.